Hey friends, Dawson here. I have watched 8 hours of actress Keira Knightley, so that way you don't have to. And today we're covering her personality type as confirmed by the objective personality system. Is she really an ENFP like the masses say? Is she an introvert? Is she an extrovert? Feeler? Thinker? Well, you're in luck, because today we're going to be breaking down her type coin by coin to discover the default wiring causing Keira's reoccurring patterns. Now, as we step into the typing process, we first need to acknowledge our biases. That way we can bring them into the light, and that way they're not influencing us one way or another. You know what I mean? We can kind of keep them at a healthy distance. So first, who does Keira remind you of? Well, I'll let her answer that question.
Do you ever get mistaken for other actors?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
And who do people mistake you for?
Well, I've been chased through an airport as Natalie Portman. I mean, Natalie Portman a lot.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
But then also you did the Star Wars.
I did the Star Wars
and you did
things.
the,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
have had many pictures of Natalie Portman. I've been chased through a park as Kate Winslet. Quite a few people have come over to me to ask me to say hello to Daniel Craig for them because they think I'm Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
She's lovely. And Britney Spears.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a weird combination. But luckily for us, Ops has typed all 4 of these lovely ladies. You have an ISFP, ESFJ, ESFJ, and an ESFP. Alright, so we're already all over the board with Keira here. Like she might not be a straightforward type. So let's gather these pieces and see what we can put together here. So when doing the typing process, it is much like playing a game of chess. Yes, excuse the overused NI analogy, but in reality, you cannot take out a big piece from your opening move. Instead, you have to slowly download these parts and take out pawn by pawn until you can get into a better position. And then you can go for the big pieces. So for Keira Knightley here, I cannot jump in on observer decider. Introvert, extrovert, feeler, thinker? Not yet. Okay, so what is the easiest coin here? Well, let's poke around a bit and see what moves. Okay, Keira, how do you like planning?
Are you risky like this in your personal life too? And I don't mean by your relationships with whoever you have a relationship with, but just in terms of the way you view your life.
I think I'd like it to be exciting. Yes, I don't like to plan things. I don't like to I think a lot of actors sort of book themselves up years in advance if they're lucky enough, you know, and I don't like to know what I'm doing next.
Oh, are you saying you don't look down the road and set long-term goals?
What you want to do next, what you plan to do next, what your kind of longer-term goals are. Is that something that you think about at all, or are you just in the moment?
I don't really think about it. I don't really like to think about it. I got to the end of Anna Karenina and went, good God, I've been dying in pretty much everything I've been doing for the last 5 years, and I really need to stop doing that. So this year was the year of pure entertainment and positive things with happy endings. So I did a film called Can a Song Save Your Life about friendship and making an album with the lovely Mark Ruffalo and Catherine Keener, who were fabulous. And then my next one was a very Hollywood pure piece of entertainment thriller called Jack Ryan with a happy ending. Sorry, I haven't given anything away. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine it's got a happy ending. Because I really felt like I didn't want to die.
Again.
Again and again and again. I don't know what's next. I have no idea. I'm not somebody who's good at planning. I need the interest to be very, very, very alive in order to kind of give everything I've got to it. So I'm not one of those that can sort of go, oh, I want to do that in 3 years' time. So I don't have anything now.
Where do you see everything going? Or do you not look ahead, really? No. You just take every project as it comes and you still enjoy it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think you can look ahead in this particular industry. I think you've just got to go with the flow and see what happens. And if it all falls apart tomorrow, then I've had a really nice run and so be it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. I mean, if we had a bingo card of all these OE phrases, Keira would have ticked off several. Like, we might have a bingo by now, right? So I'm already going to be leaning that way and gathering more evidence towards it. So if we are seeing savior chaos, we should also be seeing a demonizing of control. As well, I'd like to get some more function cross-checks. Okay, so what else do we know about Keira here? Well, she is well known for having dyslexia, and dyslexia seems to be a significant issue between intuition and sensory, most notably trying to interpret the sensory. So, how does Keira describe her experiences?
The teachers there said to my parents, you need to find a carrot to dangle in front of Keira. There's no reason that she shouldn't be able to read, and there's no reason that she shouldn't be able to, you know, do well at school, but you need to find a carrot. And really fortunately for me, I wanted to act. So it was my head teacher, who was a brilliant man called David Cooper, who said to my mum, if she wants to act, then you let her act, but she's only allowed to do it if her grades either stay the same or go up. If she drops a grade, then you take the carrot away. I think I've always been very creative. You know, it was art, it was drama, it was music. I was always very good at creative writing. I was top of those classes. It's just that my spelling was awful. Again, the teachers that I had recognised how important it was that I knew that the points that I was making and the pieces of creative writing, the stories that I were telling, were great and were valid and were interesting, and that they gave me a mark for that. And that the spelling and the punctuation was entirely different. My spelling makes people laugh. It makes me laugh, actually. And my reading, if I'm sight reading, oh, it's a complete joke. I mean, it'll will mean something else completely. It won't make any sense at all. Which, for what I do for a living was quite difficult, because if you give me a page of dialogue now, I can just about do it, but I mean, it jumps about, and it takes me a while. I really need to learn it. I need to sit with it. I always have to say, you cannot give me a rewritten scene on the day and think I'm going to be able to perform it well. If you give me a rewritten scene the day before and I have a night to work on it, I will be able to do it well. I think it's vital that teachers are trained about dyslexics, about dyslexia, about spotting it, and about working with dyslexic kids. It's absolutely vital. Because the world is changing, and imagination is key to everything, and there's going to be a lot of kids whose potential are lost unless we train our teachers to effectively teach them.
Yeah, like she was saying that at an early age, she would memorize entire books because that was the only way that she could get away with reading. Otherwise, it would take an eternity. And kind of looking at the ops types here, it seems like dyslexia trends with those who have savior intuition. Literally, difficulties with the sensory. Like Steven Spielberg is a typed ENTP, and he has had similar experiences with dyslexia.
Nobody diagnosed me as being dyslexic, and so all they could do was assume that I wasn't studying hard enough, that I wasn't reading hard enough, that I was perhaps lazy, yes. And so I've been able to overcompensate, and I just basically, with never feeling ashamed of myself, will take 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours to read 120 pages. It takes me about 2 hours, 45 minutes to read what most people can read in about an hour and 10 minutes.
Now, of course, a trend does not mean a conclusion, and other types can definitely have dyslexia, so we're going to continue gathering more cross-checks. Okay, so Keira Knightley is well known for her period pieces. Why does she keep gravitating towards these historical pieces? What is her fascination with history?
What is it like to live the past?
I love it. I've always loved history, and I love the sort of sense of freedom, because you can imagine what it's like. Nobody knows. You're not constrained by what we know of today. We know what our society is. We know what our cities look like. We know how we dress. We know how we work. When you're dealing with 1860, okay, you can pick up a history book, but really, if I tell you it was slightly different, and I say, well, I've read a different history book, you're not going to completely know that I'm lying. So there's a lot of freedom in it, which I really enjoy, and I love the imagination of it. And I love the fact that we think we've changed so much, and human nature hasn't changed. We make the same mistakes again and again and again and again. And I'm sort of fascinated by that.
Back to the freedom talk, and it's not that she loves the censored details of all these historical pieces. No, instead, we already know the censor of the real world, and now you can't bend it. I need my imagination to be able to distort things, and that way you won't even know the difference.
Which is interesting, because you often play historical, and these are both modern ladies.
I think that's why I enjoy doing historical characters, because I like it not to be like me, and I like it to kind of, because that's what I love doing. I love sort of trying to climb into somebody else's shoes and really see the world through a different perspective. And I love it when my imagination can create a whole new world, which is what I feel like it does with historical pieces. And I think probably it would be the same if I did a sci-fi. I love that kind of creation of the whole world. There's a freedom in that. I feel quite constricted by doing pieces that are set today, because we know what our world is today, and the rules, and you can kind of break them in historical pieces, and I sort of enjoy that.
More freedom talk, and I hate feeling constrained. Constrained by what? The rules of how the world is today that we can't break. Okay, so now you're seeing this sense of freedom and imagination, and you're also seeing the sense of we need to bend the historical rules to serve the imagination. This is what saviors and demons look like. We need to get away from and disrespect one, which is the societal rules, in order to serve the greater need, which is imagination and freedom. So we are seeing that Keira Knightley is savior NE. And that was one of the biases coming into this one, and it still holds up. Okay, so let's hit feeling versus thinking and break that one down. The current bias leans towards her being savior FI. And if we have predictability, we should be seeing that Keira will have personal values, she'll know what she likes, she'll know her favorites, but she'll have a little bit of trouble seeing the emotional spectrum of the tribe. So let's pitch her a favorites question and see how she responds. Easy peasy, right?
What is your favorite Joe Wright film that you've worked on with Go?
Oh, I don't know. Probably the one I had most fun. I don't know. Shall I just make more of these noises and not answer your question? It's really hard to choose, because Pride and Prejudice was so amazing because I'd been so obsessed with it since I was about 8. So doing that, and then also it was the first time that I'd worked or been around a load of people of my own age who were all interested in the same thing, because I'd left school early and, done all of that. I think that was really fun because it was this group of girls that were all together, and that was amazing. But then Atonement was super special because we were all living...
Good heavens, you're blushing.
It's just hot in here, that's all. in this house in Shropshire together, and at that point we were all partying a lot, and that was fun. Anna Karenina was not fun because she kills herself at the end. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but it's quite famous. You know, I mean, she's quite...
I think the spoiler alert has gone for that.
Has gone.
Yep.
But, you know, Anna Karenina was technically super difficult, and also was this character that was, like, just not happy.
So complex.
In any way.
Yeah.
So that, I think, probably fulfilling as far as, like, how difficult something is, and yet, you know, still having to bring it. That was amazing. But probably the first two were actually properly fun.
I mean, you have emotional expression here, but why does it take you a minute to answer that? And why are you taking us through all of them? Like recently, we typed the singer Pink, and at first I thought she was going to be on the TI and FE spectrum. But then the more that I watched her, the more that I realized she knows what she likes instantly.
Favorite food?
Favorite food is cheesecake.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie is Love Story. Favorite movie is Step Brothers and Love Story.
Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show, Alf.
Favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon would be The Smurfs.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh, that's a hard one. Probably Houston Smith's The World's Religions.
How do you know what you like so fast? And yet Keira here seems to be having a little bit of trouble. So, how does Keira see emotions?
You worked with Joe Wright on that film. That was the first time that you guys worked together. How did he help you as a young actor to sort of find that character?
Shut your mouth, put your chin down, was my main direction at most time. Are you pouting? Stop pouting. There will not be one pout in this movie. Okay. You know, I mean, I think my relationship with Joe, I think it's a funny thing when you're dealing with emotion. We all describe emotion in different ways, and it's a very happy accident as an actor when you meet a director who describes emotion in the same way that you do. And for whatever reason, Joe and me have that similarity in language in our description of emotion. So I think it's very clear when he's directing me what he wants, and very clear when I'm talking to him about what I'm trying to achieve. And that's not always the case with every director. You know, you can meet somebody who's lovely and you can both love the script, but for whatever reason, that language that you use is just different.
Oh, everyone sees emotions differently. I mean, sure, probably. And then we share the same emotions, and this is what he wants. Is she seeing the tribe spectrum of emotions?
I think I'm quite interested in taking emotions as a whole thing and then kind of really trying to study them. And I hate to admit it, but I have suffered from jealousy in the past. And I think in looking at all emotions, I think that's the only one that I found. And it's an obvious thing to say, but that has absolutely no positive to it whatsoever. You know, hate can be quite a positive thing. You can get an amazing motor from hatred. You can create things from hatred. But that insipid kind of jealousy is something that just eats you away.
The soul, yes.
And with Ruth, I thought, well, that's this creature that has succumbed to this horrendous disease. And I really wanted to look at that and to look at what causes it.
Keira is studying emotions for some reason, and she is also trying to find the positives behind emotions for some reason. Okay, so that doesn't seem like the intense, narrowed focus that we usually get from the FIs when it comes to emotions. Usually they're a little bit more intense and darker, right? So if that's the case, then Keira might be FE. And if that is the case, then what we should also be seeing is that the thinking and the logic is more personal. And what we usually see from the TI types is a lot more truth talk.
As long as... Yeah, I think you have to be honest about if you want the reality, then read the Andrew Hodges biography, and that is absolutely, trying to tell the reality through his point of view.
By the way, he
which is always true. Yeah, and he wasn't there, it's still a point of view, so, who knows. But no, that is not what film drama is for. Yes, you're trying to tell as much of the truth as you possibly can, but actually in 2 hours. I mean, when I said before, I'd come up with things that were true about Joan Clarke and say, yeah, but what about this? I mean, particularly the equal pay thing. You think, okay, in 2 hours about the biopic of Alan Turing, how do you fit the equal pay story for Joan Clarke in there? And it is 10 more pages, and that is 10 more minutes in the film, or 15 more minutes, and actually you need to hand it in, and it's got to be whatever this is, an hour and 45 or 2 hours, and suddenly that doesn't, I mean, it's...
There's a tear there, isn't there? Because you do feel protective as an actor of the legacy of the person you're playing.
And you do make the argument for the truth as well, but you also understand the other side. Yeah.
I think that this film is definitely, it's about the audience are going to make this film. It really is. It's such a personal... It's a personal thing with whoever sees it, what they think, and I don't want to dictate what they should think. I think Joanna is the worst. However, I think definitely the emotional portrayal I'd go for.
The emotions are not narrowing down, whereas the thinking and the truth talk, that seems to be a bit more personal for Keira, whereas the emotions are more exploratory. Okay, but that still doesn't answer the question. Is she a feeler? Is she a thinker? Is this a TI? Is this FE? Okay, I'm not really sure. I am hearing quite a bit of feeling talk going on, so maybe she leans more in that direction. Oh, but wait, are we missing a cross-check? How does Keira talk about the tribe?
What has my mother gifted me? Boy, what has my mother gifted? I mean, fucking life. You know, apart from life, she's a very strong woman, my mother. She has a very strong voice. She's never apologized for it. I think that's what she's given me.
Thank you. Whoa, this is your mother. I guess she's gifted me life? Okay, so if you are an EJ and your mother gifted you with your own agent at the age of 6, I think your response is going to be a little bit different. So maybe we can say that she's not an EJ going around and bowing down to everyone around her? Okay, but I don't like that, because if Keira is DI, that would make her a TI head. I mean, it's not like we're hearing any thinker talk, are we?
Did it change your views about psychoanalysis and about Freud and Jung in the sense that you were seeing them as real, quotes, real people, certainly as portrayed on screen?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a view on them before, you know, and I have to say my knowledge of Freud and Jung ends in 1913, so I don't think I've got much of a knowledge there. But it was totally fascinating, and particularly that character. Sorry if you haven't seen it, it's really boring me talking about it. But
I think many of us will have seen it. Yeah.
Normally people that you play, you have some sort of a link to. You know, you can understand them. You sort of go, yeah, well, I've had that with her. And particularly with the kind of the problems, the sexual side of it, it was absolutely something that I had no idea about, and sort of I found really difficult to read about and to try and understand. And that was sort of what was so extraordinary about it, was actually going, well, you cannot judge this person if you're going to play her. You have to figure her out. And with the descriptions, because obviously, you know, it's a real person, the descriptions of the tics that she was having and the hysterical fits, you know, when you're talking about hysteria, it's a very high energy, high octane thing. It was fascinating to try and piece that in a kind of jigsaw puzzle way and try and go, okay, why the hell would you behave like that? What is the logic behind this madness? Was extraordinary, yeah.
Okay, so we do have some thinker talk, you could say, but ultimately, when it comes down to it, we should be seeing reasons over values.
If you were a candy bar,
wow,
what candy bar would you be, and why? Keira Knightley.
Oh my God.
It doesn't have to be an American one. It can be a British one that they might never have heard of over here.
I'd be a Bounty.
You'd be a Bounty?
Yeah. Do you have Bounty in America?
Do you have Bounty in America?
Oh man, you're missing out. I don't know why I'd particularly be a Bounty. I'm choosing Bounty because I like them. That's not really a good reason. You get 2 in one wrapper.
Yeah.
They're little.
You can have one for lunch.
You can save one for later.
You can bite the chocolate off.
And it's got coconut in the middle.
It's got coconut.
It's amazing.
Coconut fondant.
Yeah, so in my wildest dreams, I would like to be a Bounty.
Thank you.
That's right.
Wait, why was that so hard? Like, why did you even need a reason for what you liked? Like, it's not a trick question. Like, it's not even a right answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if I were to be a candy bar, I would be, I guess I used to eat Kit Kat and Twix. Now I just eat 90% dark chocolate, so maybe something like that. Why? Like, why is there even a why there? How do you even put a reason? How do you put a why in that?
But I have other reasons. You know I have.
What reasons? Okay, if you are Savior TI, or if you are a thinker, can you explain why there's even a why? Like, how? I'm so confused, my head hurts. But yeah, for some reason, Keira Knightley is Savior TI. Okay, so that narrows Keira Knightley down to either an INTP or an ENTP. Okay, I don't like that at all, because that is not what I was expecting. But okay, let's go for Observer Decider then, shall we?
How do I stand up for what I believe in, and how do I know my worth? I think, again, you get a sense of self. Like, you get a sense of what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. You're not worrying as much about pleasing absolutely everybody. You have the freedom to walk away. And through the freedom to walk away, I think you know what will make you stay, and you know the sort of people that you want to work with, and you know how you want to be treated, and therefore how you're going to treat other people. So I think that gives you a sort of sense of worth. I think you need to have a very thick skin. So I think if you don't have one, then you need to go about trying to get one quite quickly. Oh, you never deal with unfair criticism. I mean, it always hurts, doesn't matter how old you get. Really, generally speaking, the people who are unfairly criticising you, as opposed to fairly criticising you, which is different, are normally the people that don't know you, and therefore kind of what are they basing it on anyway. So I think it always kind of helps to sort of take a step back and go, actually, what are we talking about? And as soon as you realise that it's all just puff and it's a bit silly, and it kind of makes you feel better, but it hurts at the time. You always go through the moment when it hurts before you can get the perspective on it to go like, oh no, I'm fine.
So, in the words and the tone, there's a little more hesitancy and seriousness around the people and the criticism. You know, how the people view you. And of course, that is where the deciders are going to get more stuck and they're going to start to feel a little bit more nervous. They're going to have a harder time going back and forth and moving on from people issues compared to the double deciders, the observers. Whereas they're going, yeah, the people are awesome and they suck. Who cares?
If he enters the Senate, that means I can start my MMA career because we can do anything.
That would be
I'm just saying. Relax.
I could see you dominating your weight class.
I would dominate in the skinny fat flyweight division. I really would. If anyone is accusing Fauci, I love what you said about Fauci last night. If anyone's accusing the medical community of like overreacting, you're welcome, America.
I love that you know all this stuff and you're a judge on The Masked Singer.
And also, yeah.
You really have range.
But all this is coming from the guy who thought that the rose was Bjork. So I don't know.
Yeah, you do screw up the guesses sometimes, right?
I'm the dumbest judge. Maybe I'm the smartest guy in my green room. I was alone. And then now, I'm the dumbest judge on The Masked Singer.
But not only will the deciders have trouble going back and forth in negative tribe scenarios, but they'll also have trouble going back and forth in positive tribe scenarios.
What made Keira perfect for the role of Cecilia?
Well, you know, what I think is amazing about Keira is that her eyes are incredible. You can see yourself in them, and it's just great. No, I think I'd been given a script that was incredible, and I loved it, and I knew Joe was incredible, and I wanted to work with him. But then I turned up to the screen test, and Keira was there, and she was amazing. This is so weird. She was really, really amazing. You were really amazing.
Thanks. No, it was an
I'm
incredible.
not finished.
No, all right.
Yeah.
I was trying to help you out so I can make this a conversation, so it wasn't so weird that you're talking about me.
But I know, but that's
go
the
on.
thing. Do you want to tell us why you're perfect for the part?
No, I was going to say why you were good. I was about to start kissing your ass, but it's fine. I won't.
It's fine. I don't
Continue.
It's the watershed. And I think the performance that Keira gives in this is incredibly sophisticated. It's an incredibly sophisticated character. You needed an incredibly sophisticated actress to be able to do it, and I think that's exactly what Keira is. She rocked.
Thanks, man.
Hey, where is the back and forth? Well, I was going to start praising you, and you're amazing. The deciders are going all in on the people. You're either all good or all bad. Whereas the double deciders are obligated to make sure you don't get too high and that I don't get too high on my side either. The observers aren't getting stuck on tribe criticism. They're able to more easily move back and forth between I'm super awesome and I'm also the worst ever. So Keira Knightley does not seem to be able to do that compared to the observers. Well, now that we know that Keira Knightley is some INTP variant. So where does she fall on the spectrum of INTPs? We already have her down as being consumed first, which means that she is going to be obligated to gather and to update for herself. But let's see what else we can catch.
Yeah, that was it. But if he'd called 6 months early, would you have said, no, I can't, I'm not ready?
Yeah, I would definitely have said no.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and there's a particular thing with acting. I think I was very aware that I'd reached a brick wall. And the only thing with acting is that you're reflecting the world around you and you're understanding things on different levels depending on your experience. And if your experience is only a film set, which is kind of like a bubble, then you don't have that much to reflect.
I hadn't read the book when I got the screenplay. I'd actually just taken a year off. I got to the end of The Duchess and saw this thing that Rafe was doing and suddenly realised at that point I'd worked solidly for 5 years and went, I know that there's a lot of stuff that I should have learned, and I really felt like I'd hit a wall in a funny way with that, and I thought, I know I'm regurgitating and I'm not managing to move forward in this, and I don't understand what he's getting from all of these other books, and I don't understand how he's put this all together, and I suddenly went, right, I really need to step back and try and allow in anything that I might have picked up to actually kind of seep in a bit. So I went off on a bit of a walkabout with a lot of books. And then sort of after about a couple of months, 6 months or something, phoned an agent and went, okay, I think my head's coming back together now. And
I am tired of regurgitating the same. I need to update. That is what Consume is obligated to do. It is obligated to update for self. And another question to ask is Keira Knightley naturally processing and reflecting? Or does it take her hitting a brick wall to go, oh, I haven't processed any of this? So what is coming first for Keira? The processing or the play energy?
With this, you didn't have any of that.
No, I didn't have any of that. No, so I mean, it's again, I love doing research. I love working from a novel. I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. But it was again it's just nice to change it up every now and again, and do something where you couldn't really research it a lot. You just had to kind of jump in and use your imagination and jump, kind of bounce off Steve Carell, who's a wonderful person to bounce off. So it's great.
Keira is going to be consume and play. You have lots of new, you have lots of chaos gathering on your own and with the tribe. Okay, great. That helps to narrow her down a little bit. But now we're on to the hard part. Is she an introvert or is she an extrovert? Is she blast last or is she sleep last? Okay, well, Keira Knightley is known for looking like Natalie Portman, who happens to be a blast last ISFP. As well, she has also worked with Natalie Portman on the film of Star Wars. So let's hear how Keira describes that experience.
Now you played Natalie Portman's double.
Yes. I didn't know what I was doing when I got it, because they just said that nobody gives you scripts, it's all very secret. So they just kind of kept on shoving me forward, and I'd be dressed in exactly the same thing that she was dressed in, but nobody told me why. So actually, when we got, again, I never knew when it was me and when it wasn't me, because sometimes in the kind of wide shots, they'd use me instead of her because she wanted to go home early, so I'd kind of come forward.
So Natalie Portman is Clark Kenting off the set. It is time to preserve energy, and she is winding down. Okay, but does this really say anything about Keira? I mean, I guess you could say maybe their energy levels are different, or maybe it's something else altogether. Who knows, right? But when looking at the introvert-extrovert spectrum, you'll have a lot of these mopes that are easy to pin down, and you'll also have a lot of these Tony Robbins crackhead extroverts that are easy to pin down. But trying to narrow down someone who is in the middle of the bell curve, it's going to be a lot harder to catch in these isolated interviews. And when it comes to the objective personality system in the parts, Davis said that the most important ones to know about yourself and others are observer decider and introvert extrovert. And personally, I would say that the easiest coin to begin tracking in your personal life is introvert extrovert. Is this coworker, is this family member causing introverted problems in their life or extroverted problems? Like, what really makes this clear is when you can spend an entire week with someone. Like, I have volunteered at youth camps, I have gone on mission trips, and it makes for such a great exercise in tracking introvert and extrovert over time. Okay, so I see Moposaurus over here, and is he going to surprise me by being a crazy extrovert all week long? Okay, he is going down for a nap, and a second nap, and a third nap, and he is going to bed early. He wakes up, he's groggy all day long, and he's complaining about his owies. Okay, this guy is not causing introvert problems in his life. Okay, well, one year I was trying to narrow down my dad's type, and I believed that he was blast and sleep. Okay, but is he consume last, or is he play last? Is he an introvert? Is he an extrovert? Hard to tell. It's kind of a middle-of-the-road type there. Okay, but what problems is he causing on the trip? Well, people are coming up to me and they're going, hey, have you seen your dad anywhere? I'm like, okay, last time I saw him, he was talking to this person, then he was talking to this person over here, and they're like, no, last time I saw him, he was talking to this person. I'm like, okay, my dad is talking to people all week long. And then he gets to the end of the week and he's like, I'm just so sorry we didn't spend enough time together. And I'm like, I get it. You're catching up with all 60 of your friends this week. It's fine, okay? Okay, but what if you were to watch me for an entire week? And I may or may not be a similar type to Keira Knightley here. And in my humble opinion, I would say that regularly I kind of come across more like a Chris Williamson. I'm rather laid back, I'm just taking in, I'm in conversation, there's a nice ping back, we're going back and forth, it's pleasant. But what you're gonna watch with Chris is that he just doesn't stop.
That is what 4 episodes in 27 hours looks like.
I'll just outwork it, I'll just fix it. But the more that I did that, the more exhausted I became because my energy levels were so low and my reserves were so low. The harder I worked, the worse it got. It's one of these unique situations in life where working harder does not fix it.
And if you were to watch me on these trips, what you will see is that I start out at the same energy levels as everyone else. We're all gung-ho, we are all excited, but over time, everyone else is winding down. By day 4 or 5, they are taking naps on the buses, everyone is drained. But for me, people are coming up to me and they're going, have you slept? Are you even tired yet? And then I notice my energy begins to ramp up. I am talking to more people every 5 minutes and I'm pacing. I have 20,000 steps and I can't stop. We get to the airport the next day and everyone's just sitting and they are on their phones. They are relaxing, preserving energy, and I am sprinting. I'm pacing around the entire airport. I've gone around the Houston airport like 12 times. And I'm just like, I just can't stop. I'm sprinting up and down the escalators at midnight. My energy is ramping up. So if you were to follow me around for an entire week and you are not sleep last, I would wear you out. So it's not an easy coin to catch in these interviews, but if you were to spend an entire week with Keira, you would see that she is causing extroverted problems in her life, not introverted ones. And that's probably why she hit a brick wall and was forced to take time off to process. I still have a hard time believing it, but Keira Knightley is a sleep last INTP. And I have not downloaded a lot of these types, but I guess this isn't what I expected one to look like or act like, of course, until you get to Daisy Ridley, and there's a lot of similarities there. And you will see that Keira Knightley is rather emotionally expressive. And she's gonna have the double-acted FE, and she does a decent job with it. But it is still going to be the trigger with the tribe and with the criticisms. Oh, another interesting note is that Keira Knightley is not double feminine, but she's audio.
What I really realise about Joe's work is that what he loves in dialogue is speed. Yeah. You know, the speed of that scene with Mr. Darcy, it's like, and the speed of that one as well. It's, you know, and I think what I love about that is it's characters who think fast and speak fast. And a lot of the time in American cinema, it's a lot slower. It's a much more kind of pause, like, which is equally fabulous.
Yeah, you'll just see that those who are audio will just like really gravitate towards the rhythm in the words, how the words sound. Like Tom Hanks was doing some of the same stuff. Bang, chung, 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 ding! Okay, so now for the social type. Again, this is another hard one. Like, there just is a trend that most actors tend to be specialists, like very just narrowed in and focused on their craft. You know, 3s and 4s. And so that's kind of my bias coming into each one of these, and I try to be careful. But Keira Knightley might be one of those.
Does the business universe of here, the west side of LA, appeal to you, or is it kind of not what you want to be playing with? Or?
I think I'm slightly too romantic about that. I mean, I much prefer the kind of theatrical element of England. Well, I mean, or New York. I think that kind of that bit where that magic creation is. I'm not very good at the business side. You can probably tell that from the CV as well. You know, the smaller films aren't necessarily the ones that are going to pull in a lot of the money always. Sometimes they do.
Well, it's how you build a career. I mean, it's...
Well, I think it's how you keep yourself interested, and therefore hopefully how other people keep interested in the work that you do. Yeah, I think you've got to be diverse, and I love having relationships with creatives, you know, and there are a lot of them, not just in film, but in theatre and in music and in art and in anything. I love kind of dipping into different worlds.
Do you know, what's interesting in selling a film is that you so rarely talk about your work. And so this has actually been, I actually don't know really how to talk about my process or talk about my work really, because I do it so rarely. So I think just the opportunity of things like this where you're actually talking about your work, which is obviously the thing that I spend a lot of my time thinking about and doing, is very nice. So I suppose what I'd love is just more conversations about the actual work by people who might be interested in it. It's amazing.
It feels like she leans away from the business side of things and she sees the craft as more narrowed and focused. You know what I mean? So if you disagree, let me know. Fight me, right? Give me your reasons. Yeah, give me your reasons. All right, well, that was Keira Knightley. She has bewitched me both body and soul, and I love... never mind. I never should have watched that movie. Anyways, get out of here. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later. See you next time.